Hey, this is Dave from Dash Off-Road, and this week we're going to road test the Coleman RoadTrip barbecue. Been a caravanner and a YouTuber for a fair while now, and I've tested the Ziggy barbecue, the Weber Q barbecue. I've compared them to. Then the Weber Traveller came out, and that was really the next best thing in caravan barbecuing to fit in that stupid hole down there. But there's another one on the market, and it isn't really talked about much. After the Traveller review, heaps of people in the comments said I need to go and review the Coleman. So I went and bought one, and that was difficult in itself because you can't walk into a Weber store, Bunnings, Barbecue Galore, all of those places and get it. The only place I could really purchase this thing was on Amazon, which was, I wanted to see it because there's heaps of knockoffs that you see in BCF and stuff. I wanted to have a look at it and see if it was any good before I laid out the money, because it's not that cheap. By the time you buy all the accessories, you're probably looking not far off $1,000, because you just get the barbecue by itself. There's a small and a large one. I went for the 285. If you buy it in a different colour, red's cheap, black's in the middle, and blue's the most expensive. But then you have to buy the different hot plates, the thing that connects to your gas bottle. You can connect it to the little green canisters if you want to, but I like to travel with a gas bottle. But yeah, so it adds up quick. So I want to do this review so you know if it's any good, and you can purchase directly off Amazon. And by the way, I have no idea Amazon or Coleman know that I'm doing this video. The first thing I noticed, it takes up less room in the tunnel boot. It's pretty easy to get out and put up. It's not have a gas strut like what the Traveller does, but it's far from difficult to put up. I guess what attracted me next was the ability to control the burners individually. So there's 3 burner sets, a left, a right, and then a central one. And it's pretty easy to ignite, turn, press the button, and it's lit. Easy as that. And to have these tables that fold out the side, that just gives you more real estate to put stuff, because without a doubt, when I'm doing this with a family, there is stuff everywhere and there's not enough room. The Weber Q made out of cast iron or whatever it is, alloy, I don't know, on one hand it feels like it's more robust, but is it necessary? It probably does hold heat in a bit more. I don't know. I think if you're like cooking at home, maybe, but when you're out camping, it's probably not as big a deal. So again, all the other barbecues can only have like one half being flat plate because it needs the air to escape. These have got an air gap underneath and around the sides, so if you so chose, you could have a hot plate on both sides. The only one that could do that. This is what I was talking about, beef bacon. Oh my God, if you haven't got onto this, it is so good. Again, Najobi is the people that make this. They got no idea who I am, but this is so damn good. I'm addicted to it. Chili beef bacon. Oh. And if Najobi you are somehow watching this, I love your stuff. If you want to sponsor me, yeah, please sponsor me. Lifetime supply of Najobi small goods, please. All right, enough waffling on. I'm going to cook my breakfast, eat it, have fun today, and then tonight we'll come back and cook a big, thick steak, and we'll see how it performs that, because all these like traveling barbecues really have a challenge cooking a good steak. And I'm not doing like a reverse sear sort of thing. I'm just want it as hot as possible, get it crunchy and crispy sort of crust on the outside, and go from there. We have evolved to the evening, and dare I say it, it's pretty bloody cold. But also what's happened, as my purist of a steak and meat lover, I've had a change of plans in what we're going to do with the steak. Here's the hot tip. We are measuring 8 degrees outside from here, and we're measuring 30 or so degrees inside the Travel Buddy. And yes, I'm a sucker, but I've decided to reverse sear the steak. So the Travel Buddy is cooking the inside of the steak, and when the time comes, we'll move over here and we'll crank this baby and we'll have the perfect steak. I'm so looking forward to this. Let's do this. It's time to do it. With an internal temp of 140-ish, we're on. Oh, that's a bit thin, that one. All right, let's cook her. Let's go. Alrighty. 200 degrees. Let's go as hot as we can. Alright, pro tip. Put your plate on the barbecue to warm it up so you can put your nice steak on a cold plate. In saying that, I pretty much balls this up. Spent too much time worrying about everything else and I probably should have got the steak out a bit earlier, but it is what it is. Steak's done and resting, but we're going to make this less about the steak, more about the barbecue, because that's what you actually clicked on this video for. So what we're going to do is run the barbecue now for another 10 minutes and see how hot we can get it. All right, let's cut into this baby. Oh, it's not too bad. It's a little bit over medium rare, which is what I knew would happen, but oh. Can't be, or Anglevale Butchers if you know who you are, and a reverse sear. So good. It's been 10 minutes or so and I think it's starting to top out. So we're seeing a bit over 250 degrees on the lid. However, when I lift the lid, this is what's different. I'm getting, it's going hotter than I can measure. This thing goes up to 320 degrees Celsius. Oh, can't do that. And it's going over the top of that. I don't think that the gauge is symbolic of what's actually happening at the hot plate, which kind of confirms what I was predicting. Well, not predicting, but what I'm seeing, because when I cook a steak on here, it gets so much hotter and it cooks so much quicker. I know that this is hotter than any other barbecue I've ever had that fits in that hole down there. Now, the last part of the review is really how easy it is to clean, and there's no way I'm doing that at 10 o'clock at night at 5 degrees in the bush somewhere. So we'll snap to the cleaning part. All right, time to clean this baby up. Let's set it up. So the way I do it anyway, I step on here, lift that up, and I'll just do that. Probably could do that more coordinated. Let's get these hot plates out of the way and have a look. I'll put them on the on the driveway because I'll high pressure clean them in a bit. What I want to do is see what's underneath, to be honest. So unlike all the other sort of barbecues that have like a fat tray underneath, this has just got like a big donut around the outside, and that's what catches all the fat. Time's going to tell, to be honest, after I use this, because on one hand it's good having all the fat drip down underneath, because if there's a fat fire, it's all out the way. If I got a fat fire in this barbecue and I hadn't cleaned it for a long time, it could be disaster. So that might be a mental note to clean this regularly. Ooh, gross. Although in saying that, that was actually relatively easy to do that. I got the high pressure cleaner out and everything to get into this, like I would do if it was my Weber Q or Weber Traveller. But to be honest, I don't think I need to. A few sort of wraps of paper towel, and I don't really need to high pressure clean it. Or maybe I will, just because I'll clean the outside of it a bit, but that's how that was easy. So in summary, this Coleman RoadTrip barbecue is a serious competitor to the Weber Traveller, Weber Q, the Ziggy, all of them. This is the one that's going to stay in my caravan until I find something better. I like the extendable tables. I like actually how easy it was to clean. It's lighter, its setup is smaller. Even like when I have to move it on the wheels like a wheelbarrow, it moved better. There's not a lot of bad things I can say about this thing. It's like, I'm not one of those YouTubers that like say game changer, but it's pretty damn good. All right, wait until the next review and I'll see you on YouTube. Yeah.